All right, so it looks like Watcher responded. So if you don't know what happened here, is Watcher, they're like a BuzzFeed type of channel because they're like ex BuzzFeed employees that decided to do their own thing, and they make a whole bunch of different types of content, like like true crime stuff, gaming stuff, like ghost hunting stuff, cooking videos. Like you can't really put them in a box. And they also have like an interesting release style or schedule where they'll make like seasons of a show and then just put out the series. I assume on like a weekly basis. It's pretty interesting format for YouTube, and yeah, like it seems like their whole motto is they want to make television style content and make it work on YouTube. So that's why they create content in seasons and stuff like that. Which, yeah, I mean, it's a cute way to schedule out your content. And they make really great content. Like that's you really can't take that away from them. Their content is very well produced. I think these guys are like super funny, super entertaining. I really like their dynamic. Like I'd honestly never really watched their content before this whole controversy started, and in the past couple of days, I honestly, unironically, I've just been like watching their their content. It's like good content to have like in the background when you're doing other things. I really like these guys. But the whole controversy is that they decided to just stop posting content on YouTube and to start their own streaming service. Wacky, wild, insane. Have no idea why they decided to do that, but they did. But apparently they're walking it all back now. So I actually made a video on my main channel about it. You can go check it out. There's a link to my main channel in the description below. But I figured I'd react to their response because why not? All right, let's hit play. Turn on subtitles, actually. Oh, shoot. Hold on. My audio settings were not correct. Okay.
Hey everyone, last Friday we announced that we're leaving YouTube and launching our new streaming platform.
Cringe.
We messed up. A lot of you spoke out with extremely valid comments and concerns, and we want to take the time now to address.
This is very rehearsed, not... They're like, we need to plan out exactly what we're going to say.
those.
We've been reading the things you've been saying, and we're sorry for the way we handled this, as well as the way we communicated it. We understand where you're coming from, and we're making immediate changes.
First, we want to affirm that you are the reason why we've been able to do anything at this company. You helped us.
Yeah, because that's just like... I assume it's just clear as to why it was an insane move, but for you to just just out of the blue come out and be like, we're no longer making YouTube videos, but we're starting a streaming service, and our content is going to be behind a paywall, like $6 a month. It's just so disconnected from what YouTube audiences want. It's so disconnected from what your audiences want. And yeah, like, maybe it's a little parasocial of people, but when you're providing that kind of content for free to just, and at some point in their video, they mentioned like, yeah, we made it at $6 a month so that everybody's able to afford it. And it's like, no, $6 may not be a ton of money, but like when you add up all the different subscription services that people have nowadays, adding another $6 is a lot of money actually. So it's just wild.
Affirm that you are the reason why we've been able to do anything at this company.
Wow.
You helped us every step of the way when we left BuzzFeed to start Watcher at the top of the pandemic.
I may have only started watching these guys a couple days ago, but I feel like I'm a part of the family. And I feel like he's talking to me directly.
In 2020.
You've supported us in so many ways by watching our content.
Yeah, attending your live shows, subscribing to your Patreon. Oh my God, this was another thing. So they already had a Patreon. They already had a Patreon. So it's just like, what? And by the way, the patrons were not going to just immediately get a subscription to the subscription service. Like, you'd think that those would go hand in hand, where it's like, oh, well, if you're subscribed to the Patreon, well, obviously you're just going to be able to watch the content on the streaming service. No, if you were a Patreon member, you had to also get the get the subscription service. You would get it at a discount, but still, that's insane.
Attending our live shows, buying our merch, becoming members of our Patreon, and giving words of encouragement over the years. And we are incredibly grateful for your support.
We're sorry for how we originally delivered our goodbye message to YouTube. It was insensitive. We didn't properly express how much we appreciate all of you. And we did a really bad job of explaining the reasoning behind this transition.
We also want to deeply apologize for our ignorance around the impact of the cost. We regret stating and implying that it's a price that anybody can afford, and we fully acknowledge that it is not.
That specifically, he said that.
We didn't take the proper consideration for how this cost would affect you, and hope you know that we are taking this as a serious learning experience. With that in mind,
It's like, I don't know. It is like, it is wild. Because it's just like, how do you not realize this? How did you make that video and not realize how it looked and how you sounded? Why did you think that making a subscription service for a YouTube channel would ever go over well? I don't. That's why, like, one of the things that I mentioned in my video, which you can watch if you go to my main channel in the description below. Check out the video that I made. Subscribe to the channel, by the way. Also, just subscribe to this one as well. You know what I'm saying? Like what? Oh well, sorry. Well, yeah. What I was gonna say was, like, I have to wonder. Like, I made the point that I wonder if they knew that it wasn't gonna go over well, and that the majority of their fans weren't gonna be okay with it, and that they were gonna bleed a bunch of their fans. But they kind of, like, maybe did the math, and they were like, okay, well, as long as we reach, like, this number of subscribers, even though it's going to be overall less viewers, it'll be enough to, like, fund our content. I wonder if that's just, like, the calculus that they made in their heads. Like, I can't believe that they earnestly thought that, like, oh yeah, our the people that watch us on YouTube, yeah, they're just going to subscribe to our streaming service. We're the rebellious BuzzFeed exiters. We're the up and coming fire starters of YouTube. Like, they'll support us. Like, how? There's no way that they thought that. I don't know.
making some changes to ensure that there's a way for our community to continue watching our content for free.
Oh my
If you want
gosh.
to watch our shows early and ad-free, you can catch them on the Watcher platform a month earlier. After that, you'll be able to watch our shows on YouTube for free. For those that have already subscribed to the platform,
Yeah, how much earlier were you able to watch them on Patreon? Because that's actually a good question. Actually, let me look that up. Okay, so on their Patreon, if you joined, you would watch it 24-hour early and ad-free access. Okay, so I mean, yeah, that does make that does make the that does make the streaming service, I guess, more valuable. But it's weird. Like, they have to fix this Patreon situation. So it's like you pay $6 a month on the streaming service, and that gets it a week early. But your Patreon members, they're paying $5 a month, and they only get it 24 hours early. Like, they have to synchronize the Patreon with the streaming service. They have to do something with that, because this is weird. Also, wait, actually, yeah, I believe the way it worked as well was that, yeah, if you get if you get this Patreon thing, you're just straight up not getting access to the to the content anymore.
we are so grateful for your support. But if this change has you rethinking your membership, we will issue a full refund.
Okay.
And all pass. But if this for those that have already subscribed, after that, you'll be able to watch our shows on YouTube.
Wait,
for
yeah,
free.
I want
For
to.
those
I went back because I want to know if he's talking specifically about Patreon.
that have already subscribed to the platform, we are so grateful for your support. But if this change has you rethinking your membership, we will issue a full refund.
Oh,
And
refund the people on Patreon, by the way.
all past episodes and series will remain available on YouTube.
As for the question of why we decided to launch our own platform,
Yeah, you may. By the way, yeah, you better, because I feel like the biggest, the biggest thing that they have to address is the Patreon, in my opinion, because the idea that your patrons are not just getting access to the subscription service, especially like the patrons that paid the annual fee, they either need to get a refund or they should just have access to the streaming service.
when we started Watcher in 2020, we wanted to create shows that we were proud of, that we had ownership over, and that would provide you the caliber of content that we felt you deserved.
Yeah, this is like the complete disconnect that these guys have with their audience. And by the way, this is not me jumping in and like right now and speaking for the audience. Like if you just read their comments, like this is how they feel. Nobody cares about the caliber of content that you're making. At least when it comes to video production and how pretty it looks and how good your set design is. Your audience they simply don't care about that. They watch you guys because you're funny and you're entertaining and you have good chemistry with one another. That's it. Is it nice that your videos look good? Sure. Is it nice that you have like nice post-production where you have like graphics and animations or whatever? Like, yeah, that's great. Good on you. That's not what your audience cares about. So, just to be clear, don't be like, we wanted to create the caliber of content that you deserve. It's like, no. Your audience doesn't care about that. That's what you want. That's what you just want to make TV shows. Like that's your weird pipe dream. Or it's not weird, but it's like that's your aspiration. Don't like put that on the audience.
However, we were finding it harder and harder to stay relevant to advertisers and the constantly changing YouTube landscape.
Yeah, I will say I don't I don't necessarily know that, and I don't know if they clarify it here, but I feel like some people were like taking the whole advertiser thing as to them being like they wanted to talk about more controversial stuff and whatnot. I don't think that that's it necessarily. I just think that like the type of content that they make is probably advertisers probably just don't think that their audiences will go for it. Like the more like long, like really long form content like this, like their ghost hunting videos and their like cooking videos. I feel like it's more so just the type of content, not necessarily that that they couldn't be controversial or anything like that.
Faced some incredibly challenging decisions. We didn't want to compromise our content to ensure they met advertising requirements, and we definitely did not want to lay people off that have brought Watcher to life behind the scenes.
Yeah, okay, so this is this is an interesting point because when a bunch of people are saying, myself included, that your content doesn't need to be as well produced as it is, and that will save you money. To be clear, I will bite that bullet. It's like, yeah, you might have to lay some people off. But you're the ones that like got yourself to have 25 employees on a YouTube channel. And now listen, I'm a teeny tiny little YouTuber. Maybe that's normal for YouTubers. I don't know how many employees like the Try Guys have, for example. But it's like you made that bed for yourself. And so when you're facing trouble, I'm sorry, like it's rough to say, but it's like before you decide that you're going to make a streaming service and take away content from your YouTube subscribers. Before any of that, you absolutely should be cutting costs down on on the production side of things. Is that going to mean laying some people off? I mean, yeah. Or at the very least, like cutting hours and stuff like that. But like, that's just like the cost of business. You know what I mean?
And we didn't want to bring Watcher to a close, which would have happened if we stayed solely on YouTube.
That's why we decided to launch the platform.
Like but it's just like, I don't know. Listen, I don't know that much about the economics of YouTubers of this size. So maybe I'm just completely off base. But when you're getting like millions of views on YouTube on your videos, when you do have advertisers on them, when you have merch, when you have a Patreon, when you do live shows where you're selling tickets, presumably, you're telling me that all of those sources of revenue isn't enough? I don't. That's just one. That's another thing where I'm just like, I don't know. That seems a little sussy to me. That you're really telling me, you're telling me that you couldn't make it work.
So that we as a company could continue, we could pay our staff fairly, and not only continue to make great content for you, but expand with new shows, new voices, all ad-free. And now with the addition of accessible options, this is a decision that we all believe is the best for Watcher.
However, we realized that in figuring out the logistics of what this might take, we overlooked the way it would impact all of you. We hope you'll be patient with us through these mistakes, and we remain incredibly sorry that they were made in the first place.
We also want to directly address our Patreon
Okay,
community,
yes, Jesus Christ.
who played such a key role in supporting us from the very beginning. All current Patreon members
Okay.
will receive a free subscription code to the platform.
That is honestly like, of all of the sins that they've committed, this was like the most important one to rectify.
If you already purchased a subscription, please contact us and we will issue you a full refund.
We look forward to continuing to make shows and introducing all the incredible things that we've got planned for the platform alongside YouTube. And in the meantime, we are forever grateful to all of the people who make up our community. And we hope that you consider joining us in this next chapter of our journey, whether that's on YouTube or on the platform.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. I mean, listen, I think that's fair. Honestly, like, at the end of the day, the fact that, like, receiving content on YouTube a month later, I think that's fair. Especially, like, there might be, like, a month, I guess, where YouTube's not getting any content. But I assume that after that point, YouTube will just be getting a steady stream of content. Like, that's kind of what it seems like. So it's still baffling to me, admittedly, that they even let it get to this point. I don't understand how that happens. I don't understand how they didn't think that this was going to go badly for them. But I mean, at the end of the day, they rectified the Patreon issue. People are still getting content on YouTube for free. And if you want to support them on their streaming service and you are getting something, you're getting content a month early, that's also that is a bonus, an added bonus. Cause yeah, that's the whole other element of this thing is like, when you're doing a Patreon and when you are and when, or if you're going to do if you're going to, which that's probably not a good idea, but if you're going to do a subscription service, which I guess if you really think about it is just a Patreon with extra steps. If you're going to do that, you have, it has to be additive content. Like, you can't just say like what you were watching for free, you now have to pay for, because that's always going to anger people. So it has to be either just straight up new content. It has to be like access to a Discord. It has to be like early content, right? You're getting the content early. So at this point, I think this is fine. I think this is reasonable. I think that now the subscription service is additive, right? People on YouTube are still going to get their content. I mean, if you want to say that it's still getting, that you're still kind of getting cucked on YouTube because they're getting it late, that's like whatever. But you're still getting the content. And then if you want to pay the $6, you can get it free or early, early. So I think this is fine. I think this is fine. So good on them. I still like them. I like I said, I've been watching their content over the past couple of days, and they're honestly some of the best content on the platform. Like, they really are. I think that Shane and Ryan's chemistry is wonderful. I really like Steven's like Dish Granted series. I think that's a really wholesome, fun, nice series. I think it's good. So yeah, hopefully they continue to grow and learn, or learn from their severe lapse of judgment that they had. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.